Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to show you how to set up a Penn Fathom 25 narrow with 50-pound diamond line braided line, and I'm going to show you the whole setup on how I pair it with this Shakespeare. This is actually a jigging rod. It's a Tiger Elite jigging rod. It's 50 to 100 pound test. It's got a really nice soft tip, which is nice, and it's more of their premium rod that Shakespeare makes. Unfortunately, Shakespeare decided to discontinue it. There are a few remaining out there for sale, either used or at some of the big box retailers. They do have a few in stock now, but it's an awesome setup. I've used this rod for this type of rod for many years. Indestructible. It's got a 7-year warranty, so even though they discontinued it, and then we are going to pair that with, this is the Penn Fathom 25 narrow. It's a single speed reel, lever drag, as you can see here. Ergonomically designed, lightweight. It's 19 ounces. That's one of the nice things about this reel is you could put basically, here's the breakout, but on 50-pound test, you're basically putting 475 yards. So right there, 475 yards. If you go with the 65-pound, you're putting 395 yards. You could pair that back and go with 30-pound braid, and you could put 680 yards on that. So it's a really good, you could pack the spool. Gear ratio on this one is 5.3 to 1, meaning every time you rotate the handle, the spool has rotated 5.3 times. So we're in neutral there, but it's amazing. It's pretty fast. So it's I've taken a lot of people fishing, and one of the comments a lot of times is, oh, the reel is so heavy if I use a regular Senator or whatnot. So this is really nice. So here's the reel we're going to be setting up, and it's brand new. We have the backing plate there. And we are going to use some diamond line. This is the 3rd generation 8X. It means there's 8 strands in there. It's the orange. This is 50-pound test. It's essentially got the same diameter as, it says here, 15 pounds, or 16 pounds, sorry. But it's really, really small. If you look, it's actually almost smaller than that as well. We went with I debated to go with the 65, but I figured, look, everyone's moving towards lighter line. This stuff is super strong. I mean, for sword fishing, they use 65-pound, and they're holding 10-pound weight on a Lingman Pittman electric reel. So this stuff's gonna be pretty cool. So you got a quality check. So I'm gonna show you how to put the backing plate and set this reel up the appropriate way, easy way. They give you all these tools in here, a couple pins, backing plate, and all that. So we're gonna take this pin here, so this pin right here, and we're gonna put the nut on there. Now this reel is about $230 or so, so we're gonna put this up here, and we're gonna do the same with this one. They make a 2-speed, they make it in star drag as well. This is a lever drag. So we're gonna put this on just like that. There we go. So the bottom here, we have these 2 posts, and you're gonna just insert and go just like that. And then we're going to tighten this down. Just like this. And we're going to do the same over here. So just like that, the big hole. And tighten it down. They give you this little wrench. So you don't want to get it like super, super tight, but tight enough. There you go. That's nice and snug a little bit, but like I said, you don't want to overdo it. Just tighten this down. So just like that, just a little snug. All right, we're gonna throw this on just like this. So in your post, and we're gonna tighten it down on the rod. Next, take your end caps. So the new pens, they don't say Penn on it anymore, I guess. But you're gonna just put that on just like that. Screw it down. And you are ready to go. Almost fishing. Let me give you this little screw here. You don't want it super tight, but you don't want it to loosen up either. Kind of just pay attention. Make sure that it doesn't, you don't lose them. All right, so that's nice and snug, not going anywhere. All right, so next up, I'm gonna take the line. This is the diamond line. Two lines I like to use a lot, diamond line, Diamond Fishing Products. They make great monofilament, they make great braid, and also Power Pro. So I had to buy a new spool because I don't know if this is gonna cut it to fill this one up, but. So there's a few ways that you can, so I'm putting it through the first guide. You can set this up right here. First way is just straight the way I'm gonna do it, which is just tying a uni knot to it. You can also potentially go through the spool and all that, but you're never really gonna get, for my case of fishing, you're never gonna get it down to the bottom. Unless you hook a big shark or something, but even so, I don't know if you're gonna necessarily get down there. So one way is to tie a uni knot, so I'll show you. Some people will put a little bit of electrical tape on the base here, kind of build it up a little bit. Some people will put backing of like monofilament, so like this would be appropriate for like 30-40 pound monofilament, so that way you're not using as much braid. But to be honest with you, I just typically like to use this way. That way if you have to cut off like half of it and you can retie it. So I'm going to show you the knot that I use. It's called the uni knot. It's really simple. All you're going to do is basically make a loop. So you have a loop here and you're going to take your tag end and you're going to go through that loop, that pinched line right there 5 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, pretty simple. You're gonna pull the tag end, just like that. Now when you get to this point, I actually like to cut off the tag end. Cut it as close to the knot as you can, just like that. And the reason I did it there, and I'm gonna pull it down, I'm cinching it down. And the reason I did it there is I don't want it, you gotta be careful you don't nick the spool. I mean, it's easy to do. So you're nicking the spool, but so just like that. So now we're gonna put the drag. Now, of course, you guys know this is in free spool. We have the drag up this. You can put up the strike right there, strike, and then full, and you can adjust the tension at strike. But so we're gonna wrap this on. So it's really simple. Say it just came on. You may want to get yourself a paper towel to hold the braid. You want to go nice and smooth with this, nice and even. So you'll see it just going on like that. So keep tension on it. Ideally, I mean, you could take it to a bait shop and they could put it on for you. A lot of times they're going to put it on and they're going to charge you, if they charge you $5-10, it's not the end of the world. If you were to buy this braid at the store, for them to fill it up, you're talking $50, $60, $70 at least for this. I bought the whole spool for about $230, and I actually had a coupon. It was so I was able to get it for about $200, $210. But this stuff lasts. The benefits of braid over monofilament: braid will last, call it 5, 6, 7 years, depending if how you use it. Whereas monofilament, you need to replace it pretty much every season if you're using it. It doesn't, even if you don't use it, it's gonna go bad basically. So you want to put tension on it when you're coming through here. And the reason I went with orange over, I'm gonna actually just cut this off. But the reason I went with orange over, they sell it in a shocking electric blue, is because, you know, reds and your pinks are gonna kind of dissipate in the water column faster. It's also easier to see. You know, these rods will be used by a lot of guests that we have on the boat, so it's easier for us to see, hey, here's the line, there it is. Whereas sometimes you get some of those colors that are hard to see. So let me take this tag off. There you go. And you'll see on this reel, I don't know if we went over this, but on this reel, there's markers here. So that first ring is 1/3 full, second ring is 2/3 full, and then the final ring, which is right at the very end, that's full. So that's 3 out of 3 full. So we're gonna do this. We're gonna throw the line on there. As I said before, 50-pound braid is 475 yards. You want to try to keep as much tension on there as you can. And we're going to use this reel for bottom fishing. You could use it for jigging as well. We'll show you the whole setup here. Kind of go back and forth. It's not a level line, so you're just, you know, compacting it on the reel. The braid is also very abrasion resistant. So if you get, you know, rocked up, or, you know, whereas mono will cut very easy. You know, I'm a big fan of braid. Most of my reels I use are braid. Have braid on them. So we're just keep on reeling it in. And this reel, they make it a couple versions. They make it in a 2-speed, which we also have. We have a video on that as well, comparing the two. It's the same setup basically. It's a little bit heavier, not much, but a little bit heavier. And these are pretty much bulletproof reels. These also would be great for trolling as well. So here we go. Kind of put it on as fast as you can, nice and straight. Keep that tension on it. And we're gonna, so once we get to the end here, we're gonna put about 60-pound test monofilament as your shock leader. So I did get a little bit of a loop in there. So anytime that happens, I basically didn't have enough pressure on it. So it's better to do it now than later on. So I'm gonna come back. A little bit of an overlapping. There we go. All right, we're good. So, there we go. So we're going to use a little bit of monofilament as a shock leader. We're going to put about 20 feet of 60-pound, and then that would go to our leader, our main leader. And so it would go to a 3-way swivel or a traditional ball bearing swivel, one or the other. You want to make sure, you know, like if you got a big fish on braid, the one thing about it is it can cut you very easily. So just be cognitive of that. You know, a lot of times people will use, you know, rags and stuff to carry. If you get rocked up, and you know, if you got a big fish on, just make sure you know not to put your hand near the line. Any line really in general, but especially braid. So we're right now 2/3 full. And coming in. And you always want to make sure you use that shock leader with braid, just to give you that, you know, it's not going to pull the hook. You know, braid, you can feel the fish very easily. It's much nicer to fish with braid, in my opinion. All right, so that's pretty much where I need it. It's not quite all the way there, but remember, we're going to put on 15-20 feet of that shock leader that I talked about. So we're going to go to that next step now. So we're going to cut this. Actually, I'll probably roll it up to the end of the tip. And we're gonna put on some Andy 60-pound pink. I had this in my stash. I've had it for a number of years. This line is it's a good line. I like it. I prefer, like I said, I prefer the braided. I prefer the diamond line, but we have it, so we're gonna use what we have. So we're gonna finish going through the eyes here. And the reason I just do the one eye, one or two eyes, is just, you know, more control of the spool. So it's easier. And you could set this up, once we get to the 60-pound, you could set it up multiple different ways. So here we go. All right, so we have that. So we actually didn't need the cloth as much. So we are gonna take this. This is, like I said, your shock leader. And I'm gonna show you how to do a braid to mono, different diameter connection. It's pretty simple. You're gonna take the mono, you're gonna make a loop, you're gonna pinch the loop, and then you're gonna take the braid, and you're gonna come through. So take the braid, you have a loop, you're gonna come through the loop with the braid. Okay, give yourself plenty of slack. So that's all you've done. You still are pinching the end here. And you're gonna take your braid and you're gonna roll up 10 times. Go around it, okay? 1. So all you're doing is going around both of the monofilament, that loop. 2, 3, 4. Make sure it doesn't go over itself. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, so there you go. So you're at this point now. It looks pretty official. 10 up. Now you're gonna pinch it up here, and you're gonna go 10 down. 1, 2, 3. See how it's going in line? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now patience, you gotta take your time with it, but it's pretty easy to do. Now, this knot, you wanna go in the same way that it's coming in. So right now you can see the line, it's coming in straight for the original line. It's coming in there. So that is where we're gonna go. So we're gonna take the tag end and we're gonna go right in there. So there's gonna be tension the same way it's going in. So it's coming in, it's going out. If you were to do it the opposite way, the whole thing would unravel. So now you're at this point. Looks pretty good, right? I recommend wetting it, and then we're gonna just pull it down. So start to pull it down, and you're gonna tighten it. Look at that. So there you go. And you can help it a little bit, pull it down. And you can just see it just cinch down on itself. That's not breaking. All right, so awesome. That's the product right there. So now we have to cut off our tag end. Usually go as close as you can, but recognizing that, you know, it could cinch down further. So I usually will leave just a little bit in there, a little bit of a tag end, but not much. Okay, I am going to cut off the monofilament tag end. So you got this tag end here. This one you can cut off as close as you can without cutting the braid. If you cut the braid, then it's all going to unravel quickly on you, which would not be good. So we're going to give it one final pull. I mean, look, I've had knots break at this point, so I always recommend that rather break it now than with a fish. So that's not going anywhere. Nice pressure on that. So we are going to wind up, like I said, some probably 15, 20 feet. What's nice is you can always cut this off. You know, if you're fishing and, you know, something happens, it's easier to, you know, you can cut it off and then move down to the next part of the monofilament. So you don't have to tie this knot every time. And it acts as a shock absorber. So here you go. I got some nice things here. And so from this point, you got it on the spool there. It looks awesome. You cut this off. You can go several different ways. So I just cut off the 60 there. You got your leader. Now from this point, you're going to tie a three-way swivel, which we'll talk about. A three-way swivel, or if you want to just use so you can use a three-way swivel or a regular ball bearing swivel, and you can tie three different options here. So big fish rig where you're doing a three-way swivel to a loop on the third swivel and to a long leader for your grouper and snapper. You could do a chicken rig, so you have like a vermilion rig where you do 2 to 3 hooks, or you can go ahead and put on a whatever size egg sinker, a 3 to call it 7, 8 ounce egg sinker, to a ball bearing swivel, and then to your long leader. You don't, look, I'm a big fan of fluorocarbon, but you don't necessarily need to use it on this because your presentation is going to be the leader itself. So that's why I do that. So, let's see here. The way that I'll probably rig this one up is, I'll show you the final stage here. There you go. Final stage for us would be a three-way swivel. So here's your three-way swivel, just like that. And I would tie the three-way swivel to the end of this line here, just like that. And I'm going to do a uni knot. So the same knot that I tied the line on, you're going to make a loop. You're going to come behind the loop and doing the uni knot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just like that. You're going to pull the tag end. It's important you wet it. And then you're going to slide this knot down. Slide it down, slide it down. So at that point, you're going to notice it's going to cinch down. Sometimes I'll give the tag end a little tug. Cinching down right there. Just saw it cinch down. There you go. So I cut the tag end off. As far as making your loop, it's fairly simple. Get yourself, ideally you want lighter line, so you can use 30, 40. This is the 60 because I have it here. All you're going to do is make a loop like this. And you're going to come over here, take both those tag ends there, and you're going to do a uni knot but doubled up. So here you go. Show you a little bit. So you have the loop. You made a loop there. So it's with 2. You're going to take the 2 tag ends and you're going to pinch them and you're going to come over 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Now you can go more if you wanted to, but look, if you get caught up, this is the one thing you're going to want it to break off. So you're just going to pull the tag end and you're going to gently slide the knot down, just like that. And you just saw how I did that. And you have a bank sinker. The bank sinker can easily, so cut the tag end off here. Bank sinker can easily rotate there. I mean, you can rotate the bank sinker out. All you do is pinch it, go through the bank sinker hole, go around the bank sinker, and there you are. I don't have a sinker on me, but that's essentially what happens. And you can make these smaller if you want. You can have anywhere from a 3-foot leader to 15, 20, 30-foot leader at this point. You can also use a ball bearing swivel. And then as far as, so you would just tie your hook to the end of it, and I'll show out, we have videos of that. Tie your hook to the end of it, and then do a uni knot to this point right here. So I'm a fan of, now this is the point when you put this leader on, when you would use your fluorocarbon leader. This stuff works well too. If you're going out and your cost, it's expensive to buy fluorocarbon, this stuff works really well. I mean, this spool today is $100, but it works really well too. But I would point out that fishing with fluorocarbon would, basically significantly increase your catch. And as far as storing it, really, I mean, you got the handle here. I'm going to put the loop around the handle. Of course, anytime you're using a little loop with the weight, I always take the weight off, but there you go. And you'll have your leader up like that. So essentially, you're ready to go fishing. Now, if you want to, so as far as the hook setup wise, so I'm a big fan of the Aki Twist. That's a 5/0, a 7/0 Aki Twist. This is the 60-pound diamond fluorocarbon I like to use. And you could scale it back. I have some 50-pound fluorocarbon. You can go up to 80, even 100 if you wanted to. On that, like I said, the size is 3 to call it 20 feet. And then you would put your big hooks here. So these are great hooks. If you're making a vermilion rig, we'll do a video on that. But I like to use smaller hooks for that. You're actually supposed to use circle hooks. So here's the circle hook that I like to use. It's a 2/0 VMC circle hook. You don't have to set the hook, but look, I hope you like this video. Like if you did like the video, subscribe. We're gonna have a lot of great content. A lot of good fishing chronicles and offshore adventures, inshore adventures, red fishing, bottom fishing for trout, for snapper, grouper, cobia, African pompano, kingfish, you name it. Join us on this. So we'll see you next time. Thank you.